Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. So my name's Jake, and in this workshop, in this training, I'm going to go through some secrets, SEO secrets from my time at Typeform. And before we get started, just a small bit about me. So I've always been interested in building websites. I was basically building websites since I was 11. And when I was 14, I taught myself to program. I was on forums such as PHP Freaks. I was buying PHP books. I was trying to build stuff in PHP, and I was building online websites. And then I got into online marketing because I wanted to drive traffic to my creations, right? So I came across things like SEO for Dummies, like a book on SEO, and that's how I started teaching myself SEO. And the story about how I got into PPC was I was on eBay and I came across these £75 Google AdWords vouchers, right? And I took part in an auction and I managed to get a £75 Google AdWords voucher for £1, which enabled me to spend money on PPC because at that time I was 16 and was pretty poor, right? So that's how I got into PPC. I got into SEO. I have a technical background because I've been building websites, teaching myself to program in JavaScript, PHP, HTML, etc., which I think has given me an edge on SEO, right? Because SEO has such a large spectrum. You have to really know so much, so the content side as well as the dev side as well, right? And in 2015, I moved to Spain, to sunny Barcelona, getting away from the cold and the rain in the UK, right? And I joined a startup that was called Typeform, second person in the marketing team. And there we were optimizing the viral loop, right? Typeform grew from 0 to 10 million through the viral loop. We're optimizing this through virality, through product growth. And then I found opportunities to really scale through paid ads and SEO, building a team of 10 people, which in the end was contributing more than 1/3 of the new MRR every single month. And one of those major channels was through SEO. And then basically 1 year ago, I joined Travel Park, which I'm not going to explain and go into too much, but it's a B2B SaaS company as well. And it's much more sales driven. So anyway, enough about me. Let's go into this workshop all about how I scaled SEO at Typeform and the 6 secrets that I would like to share with you today. First of all, like disclaimer, I don't work for Typeform. So all of these things that I'm going to mention now, they're not endorsed. They don't represent Typeform in any way because I've left now. However, I'd like to share this knowledge with you guys anyway. So these are the secrets, right? So secret number 1, okay, is use the force, use internal links. So Typeform is a super design focused company, right? And this was basically the bottom of their website. And as you can see here, there was no footer, there was no links, right? So when we're doing SEO, basically all of the landing pages, all of the pages that we were building were floating around in space. They didn't link from anywhere. So what did we do? We added a footer, right? And you're probably thinking, Jake, this is like super basic stuff. Everyone has a footer. Why are you explaining these things to me, right? And really, internal linking played a major role in SEO at Typeform, not just through the footer, but also building links into all of the content we had to get all of our pages ranking. For example, we really worked hard on building internal links to this page, Survey Maker page, and you can see the increase in traffic that we had by having this focus. And when we were building content and we were launching content on a daily, weekly basis, in the beginning, we didn't have a process for internal links. So what we did is once per week, every Wednesday morning, we had a 2-hour slot in our calendar that we called internal linking party. We called it a party to try and make it fun, where we'd spend time as a team adding in internal links to pages that we wanted to rank. But we soon found out that actually you have to put a process for internal links. You can't underestimate internal links. They're super important. So I don't know what process you use for SEO right now. However, if you have a Kanban board or a checklist, it doesn't stop at upload content to WordPress and then promote on social media. In the middle of that, as soon as your content writer or whoever you have uploading the content to WordPress, there needs to be a checklist or a column in your Kanban board, which is internal linking, where that person, they need to get 5 internal links to this new piece of content from around your website, right? So internal linking needs to be part of your SEO process. It's really important. Really do not underestimate internal linking at all, because some of the biggest wins we got at Typeform was really focusing on adding these internal links to a different piece of content. And this actually allowed us to get above SurveyMonkey and in a lot of cases above Wikipedia for keywords such as free SurveyMaker. And I really never thought that we would ever get above SurveyMonkey, but we actually managed to do this, and I was surprised. But it was a combination of many things: the content, the backlinking, but also the internal linking. We really went deep. We had our internal linking parties before we actually put internal linking into the official SEO process. Like, you really need to operationalize and systemize SEO and have internal linking in the process. I suggest starting with a process where after you've uploaded that content to WordPress, there's a task which is add 5 internal links to this piece of content with a mix of different anchors, because internal linking is really going to get your content ranking faster. It's great UX. People are going to find it. Google's going to find it. And you're going to see a lot more results faster in your SEO. Other things we started to do was to add links in the header. So this was on the Spanish website of Typeform, where we added encuestas and formularios as an experiment. And we found that these pages also rank faster when you add the links into the header as well. So think about how you can build like bigger menus like Canva does in your header, because Google prioritizes the links they find in the header, right? Think how you can build these menus to get the internal linkings working hard for you in the header and also throughout the content of your website. But try and plan the architecture of your website around these pages that you want to rank. So that was internal linking. Secret number 2 is build upon existing topic authority. So what does this mean, building upon existing topic authority? Let me give you an example. So Typeform has a lot of different use cases, from quizzes, forms, surveys. People in HR can use Typeform when they're for like a job application form, employee feedback survey, 360 feedback survey, onboarding processes. You can use Typeform for many things. So we're thinking of different ways in which we could attract personas, and we're thinking of content that we could make. So for example, we were thinking around the topic of customer satisfaction, because you can run customer satisfaction surveys. You can create NPS, Net Promoter Score surveys with Typeform as well. So we thought, let's create content around this, because this is really strong. We actually found that we had a really good conversion rate for NPS because it's specific, and people after NPS are serious. You know, there's a difference between like a generic survey term and Net Promoter Score term in terms of intent and buying power, etc. So we thought this was a really good bet. So we launched all of this content, and we actually did all of our internal linking. We had it in our process, backlinking, etc. However, this actually didn't move the needle at all. We waited like 3 months. We said, okay, we're gonna give it 3 months. Google just needs time to rank, to evaluate the engagement metrics, etc. of this content. However, it didn't do anything. So we went back to the drawing board. We looked at what was actually already ranking on our website. So previously I mentioned the SurveyMaker page. This was ranking really well. And we thought, let's look at what is already ranking, the different topics that we have, and then branch out upon what's already working. Double down on what works, right? So we started to create content, for example, how to write a survey intro, survey versus questionnaire, and post-event survey questions. Really close to what was working. And this really worked. We started to produce the content. We saw an uplift. We added backlinks, internal linking, and it really took off, as you can see here, from like almost nothing to like 40K per month. So by focusing on what is already working and brainstorming based off that, you're going to have results a lot faster than creating brand new topics, because you already have, you've already created and validated that topic authority to Google. So we went from, as I said, 1,700 new visits per month to 34,000 new visits per month. And this was a big win. And then over time, they started bringing new customers, because obviously there's a lag, right? Typeform, on average, it takes 3 months from sign up to new subscription. So there was a lag in terms of seeing actual new MRR generated from this initiative. Like double lag, right? The lag from SEO, then the lag from sign up to subscription. However, we started to see the fruits of our labor. And then we start to do more. For example, how to structure a survey, how to distribute your survey, product feedback survey, etc. So we started brainstorming even more things to build upon the existing topic authority that we had to get really big wins. So this is really important. So when you think about creating new content and brainstorming new content on your website, look at what is already ranking and think, how can I branch off this? What other opportunities do I have to double down on what's really working? Because this is going to allow you to scale SEO like 10x faster than you can sell SEO than if you just try and tackle brand new topics that Google really hasn't validated that you're a thought leader, you're a topic leader in yet. Secret number 3, meet user demand now. So this is one of my favorite secrets from my time doing SEO at Typeform. So we produced this article, how to write survey questions that get results. Okay, it was close to our topic, close to what was already working. We did our keyword research. We did our on-page SEO. We did our off-page SEO. However, nothing happened. Right, as you can see here, flat growth. I mean, we thought we did everything right. We did everything by the book, but nothing happened. We could not move the needle, even though we were creating content close to our close to what was already working. The focusing on our topic authority, the internal linking that we were doing, and all of our on page as well. But nothing moved the needle. So we had a look at the top 10 in Google, and we started to see different patterns emerging from other people's content that Google was ranking on the first page of Google. And we saw this was the pattern. The pattern was for the articles on survey questions, it started with a definition of the type of question. It gave a description, and then it gave an example. I thought, there's a pattern here. And we rejigged, we re-edited our survey questions article that we'd written, and we wrote it in the same format as we'd found by analyzing the patterns of the top 10 in Google. Just in the same way, definition, description, and example. And literally, my SEO content writer, she did this because she found it out. She went to lunch, because they have catered lunches in Typeform, right? And literally 30 minutes later, after one Google fetch and render, right? So we submitted it in Search Console. You see this this vertical line here? This was literally jumped to the first page of Google by just asking Google to reevaluate the content. Jump to the first page. And this wasn't the only one, right? We also did this again for survey versus questionnaire. Again, as you can see, we had a huge increase in search traffic. And again, for survey intros, as you can see, nothing was happening. We edited the content, and we had this huge increase in traffic as well. What we did is, in hindsight, we should have been doing it already. In your process for SEO, before you create the content, you need to really look at the top 10 in Google. Do an analysis of the top 10, because Google's using its natural language processing, it's analyzing structure. Look for the patterns in the top 10. Don't just go and create the content and think, how can I beat the top 10 at meta descriptions, titles, etc. Really analyze the patterns that you're finding in the top 10 and apply it to your content, because chances are it's going to work super well as what we did at Typeform by analyzing those patterns. So secret number 4 is simple conversion rate optimization is powerful. So when we were looking at the SEO channel at Typeform, it didn't just stop at traffic. We were looking at the full funnel all the way until new MRR from SEO, because we were analyzing the ROI and the contribution of the SEO team on the wider business, right? So naturally, we wanted to create content that was going to bring in MRR, signups, etc. So our tool of choice was Google Optimize, that we used to run A/B tests on our landing pages. And this is one test we ran on our form builder page to the H1 and the H2. So we added a much more benefit-driven H1. So this one was the online form builder created for humans. And this is a fast form maker that gets you 3x more completions, right? So we've tried to focus on the benefits a lot more. And what do you think it got? Do you think it increased our sign-up conversion rate by 15% or 8%? Any idea? So we got an increase in 15% in signups by doing this simple change to H1 and H2. I think it ran for around 3 weeks, and we immediately had an increase in signups to our form builder page. Really simple. However, that said, we know that signups is a vanity metric, right? Even though you might increase signups, then you might not increase new customers, because it's not deep enough in the funnel to predict new customers. And as I said previously, Typeform, the average it takes is 3 months from signups to new customer. And what we did is we actually focus on our activation metric. So the activation metric is people who sign up, they create a Typeform, and then they preview their Typeform. And this we found correlated to retention and revenue. So what we did is we didn't look at signups when doing our A/B testing and creating our leading metrics for the SEO team. We focus on activations. How many people actually activated when they use Typeform? And as you can see here in this pretty blurry screenshot, is even though we had a 15% increase in signups, in the number of signup completions, we actually had a 20% increase in activations. And this is a lot more powerful. We were actually impacting the bottom line a lot more than we first realized if we'd only been focusing on signups. And the fact is that we were doing other A/B tests where we would move the needle on the number of signups, but we wouldn't move the needle on the number of activations at all. However, in this instance, we actually got more people using the product. More people were creating Typeforms, and more people were actually previewing their Typeform and then going on to paying for Typeform and collecting responses and then being retained, right? By adding more benefits. Let me go back here. So this was it. It was a fast form maker. You know, we were talking about the product, the benefits, that it's fast to use. You get 3x more completions. We were talking about the end result, the actual value that you get from Typeform. And this had an impact further down in the funnel. So when you're doing A/B tests, don't just look at your super leading metric, such as signups. Really have your activation metric in mind. Send it to Google Analytics, use it in Google Optimize or whatever A/B testing tool you'll use, and really see how you can impact your activation metric. Don't try and impact signups. And this is really going to lead to really bigger impact on MRR. Secret number 5 is double down on your sweet spot. So do more of your sweet spot. So here's a couple of examples of, so the sweet spot of Typeform are the Typeform templates. So for example, job application form, registration form, employee satisfaction survey. There's like hundreds and hundreds of them. And we actually researched them and we found that if we were to create one of these templates and rank for it in Google, then on average, it would bring 4 new customers per year. And by understanding this, we were able to attach an ROI to our efforts. We knew how much we could pay to create the template, to create the content, to pay for the backlinks, etc., because we knew on average how much new MRR these templates would bring, right? So we decided to redouble down on what was working, what was scalable, what was going to bring a new MRR, and really focus and go deep on it. And for Typeform, that was templates. And other successful SaaS companies have really doubled down on this as well. So one example is Canva. They have like more than 50,000 templates in their template gallery, and these are all made bespoke, right? This isn't user-generated content. They actually started to use a design agency in Manila in the Philippines, and then it worked out so well they actually bought the agency, and now they have like a full-blown office and a team of I don't know how many people producing these templates every day, because they know templates isn't just an acquisition play, but templates are also an activation play, right? They don't just attract new people to your product, they also allow your people to learn how to use the product and activate in the product a lot faster with a higher velocity, and bring in revenue and retain users. So templates are super powerful, and Wix here on the right do this as well with their website templates. They know that they can rank for these different keywords. They know people are going to activate when they use this template. They know they're going to upgrade. So templates are super powerful for Canva and Wix, and they were super powerful for Typeform as well. And one of Typeform's competitors was SurveyMonkey, and we found that if you were to go on their sitemap in the footer, actually they would tell you all of the templates they had, and we would just copy them. So thank you, SurveyMonkey, for that. So if you're looking at a competitor, double check their sitemap. So maybe they have one in the footer, or maybe they have an XML sitemap they submitted. So the competitor domain /sitemap.xml, see if you can find it, because chances are you can really find their content a lot easier, and you can just double down on this and not reinvent the wheel and do it this way. We doubled down on lead generation templates. So we were analyzing templates in terms of activation. So what were the templates which people, where there was a high percentage of people who signed up and then activated, and we would double down on these templates. You know, why would we double down on templates where we had low activation rates? This wasn't going to favor our growth at Typeform, right? So we focused on templates that had high activation rates and high conversion rates to paying, that bring in more MRR faster. Because as an SEO team, we weren't just focused on traffic, we were actually focused on MRR brought through the SEO channel, because we knew that we could defend, we could build business cases, we could get resources by focusing and attaching this to like a hard business metric, which is MRR. So this is how we focus the team. We decided to double down, and we built our own template galleries, as you can see here, to really facilitate ranking for new keywords, for different templates, different use cases, different categories. So here, for example, we have surveys, questionnaires, forms, quizzes, polls, invitations. We're brainstorming loads of different use cases for Typeform, and there's hundreds of them. And we also did this. So we added a text which said, "Not finding what you're looking for, let us know." And this led to this Typeform where people could submit ideas or things they couldn't find in our template gallery. So we didn't just base it off keyword research for new templates. We'd also ask our community so that they could submit templates that they wanted. And in some cases, we'd make these templates and email them back and say, "Hey, we've made this template that you requested a few weeks ago," because this is going to help them activate and help other people activate. And in some cases, we even found there was search volume for the template that they were suggesting as well. So this was really useful by having a way in which the community can really interact with you, and the community can submit requests for things that they need to help them do their job a lot better, right? Because all of the users in your product, they're trying to get a job done. They've hired you, right? Like for jobs to be done framework, they've hired your product to do a job. So if you can help them do their job better, then it's going to ultimately lead to more MRR, more word of mouth, etc. And we really systemized the creation of templates at Typeform. So I'm not going to go through this in too much in detail. You can try and understand this flow. However, the simple explanation is that we were doing competitor analysis, keyword research, we had our customer requests going in, and we basically used a Trello board where we would hook up Typeform to Trello. We would start adding the cards to Trello, And this allowed us to prioritize the templates that we would make. We would drag it into a column where the design team would pick up these templates, which would be in a format of a template brief for the design team. And at the same time, we would be researching questions, building it with the copy, creating the type form. So we'd have both copywriters involved, designers involved, creative approval processes, and then we'd upload it to our CMS, and then we'll do an SEO check, and then we'll make it live, backlinks, etc. We really systemized this process. We were really inspired by Ford, by how he systemized the manufacturing processes, and we built a process as well to really scale this further by going really deep on that thing that was really working for us. And we systemized the whole thing. Like, systems, they really make a huge difference. So this is the last secret. The last secret for Typeform's SEO success is build a link building machine. So how do we do this? So this was link building back in 2011 on the website I built back then. So almost 10 years ago, right? And before, you would have your links page, and you would basically just exchange links with different websites and say, hey, if you add a link to your links page, I'll add your link to my links page. And it would work, right? You would exchange links. Google would see the links, like the referral links, and you'd go up in the rankings. But as we know, that no longer works, right? I built content, but no one came. Links are super important. You can't just build content, as we know. You also have to build the links. So we built a link building machine. So this is a Typeform, a contact form that people would make on Typeform, and then they would embed it in their website, right? And maybe you can't see it because it's pretty small, but when people would embed this in their website, they wouldn't just embed a Typeform. They'd also embed a link back to the very landing page of contact forms here. Hopefully you can see this well. So it said contact form powered by Typeform. And the phrase contact form is the anchor which we linked back to our online contact us form template page. So what would happen is we basically built a loop, right? The loop went like this. Someone would find us in Google. They would Google, for example, create an online form. They would sign up and create a type form. They would then, let's imagine they made a contact form. They would embed a contact form on their website, and at the same time, they would automatically create a backlink back to Google, which in turn would increase the position of our contact form page or whatever use case they made in Google, which would in turn allow more people to find Typeform, and even more people would then create a Typeform and then embed it in their website, right? So we had a content loop going on, which was that was self-fulfilling and was driving a lot of growth at Typeform. And this allowed us to rank for terms like free contact form. So here we were in position 5 for free contact form, and we built a machine that was building links. That said, we didn't just build these links because these are considered widget links. They're quite weak links. It was more of a growth hack to get us ranking a lot faster. We're also doing proactive outreach, guest posting, etc., to build more, a lot stronger links that we were sure that would last a lot longer than these links in case Google changes algorithm, etc. So we were doing lots of different types of link building. This was just one, which was more of a growth hack, which allowed us to accelerate our SEO in the short term, whilst we did the hard work of building links to ensure that we would continue ranking in the mid to long term. So these are 6 secrets, and these 6 secrets have 6 takeaways. So takeaway number 1 is never underestimate internal linking. So don't just think it's all about external links, it's all about the internal link. So if you don't have an SEO process nailed as a checklist or a Kanban board, do it now and make sure internal links is on there. Upload content to WordPress or your CMS, then it's find 5 internal links. That will save you having to have these SEO internal linking parties every week where you're trying to play catch up on the content you never did internal links for, right? Number 2, build upon existing topic authority. So focus on what's already working. So what are you already ranking for? What other topics can I create around this? Because you're really going to accelerate your SEO growth a lot faster because you've already validated to Google that you're a leader in this topic. Number 3, always test. One word can do a lot. So always be testing. Don't treat SEO as just a traffic generating funnel. Look at the whole funnel, focusing on activation metric, and increase the number of activations through doing smart A/B testing on your landing pages. Always have A/B tests running. Number 4 is give users the information they want. So really analyze for top 10 in Google, see what patterns they have, and really give people the information they want fast. Don't make them work for that answer they're looking for. Give them the answer fast, because if not, you're going to frustrate them and they're going to jump back to the Google search results pages, and you're going to learn and you're going to lose rankings because you're going to think that your content does not answer the query that they're asking for, right? 5, replicate good content. Find that sweet spot. Find what's really working for you and double down. Build a process around that. Involve your community as well to co-create content with them. And lastly, think about how you could build a link building machine. As I said, this is more of a growth hack. Building links, let's call it the old-fashioned way, or the more resource-intense way, is always the best way to do it. However, if you can find other ways to build links, do so, because it could help you in the short term while you also build links for the mid to long term. So these are the 6 secrets of Typeform's SEO growth. If you have any questions, feel free to type them in, and I'd be happy to respond to them. If you want these slides, you can download them here. And I hope you really enjoyed this talk, this workshop on the 6 secrets from Typeform's SEO. I hope you're inspired to do things on your SEO. And thank you very much for listening.